Oh, Willa. Welcome back. We got two poems back to back. All right, Hanging Fire and Translating Grandfather's House. So let's go ahead and get in there. If you haven't had a chance to open this up, it is located in your Schoology. Please take a moment to open it up in your Schoology now. All right. So what are some milestones on the path to growing up? Well, I'm going to switch over to my highlighter, get some mustard yellow over here, and highlight some of the main parts of that question, which are what are some milestones on the path to growing up? So I'm going to look on the left first. Are there any things that I see there on the left that have something to do with milestones, a path, or growing up? Well, I definitely see grandpa there. So when I think of grandpa, I think of grown up, right? I'm looking at path. A narrative is a type of path, a storied path. I'm thinking of now. Ooh, growing up, how I feel now versus how I will feel. And of course, time. Take a moment, please, and see if you can't find one on that face, that clock face, uh, that matches any of those words in the essential question. Take a moment to do so now. All right. Now, go ahead over here to this hat. This hat over here, or I think it's supposed to be a not a hat, a building or a door. It's a door. It's a door. There's the doorknob right there. Color in the doorknob, please, with mustard yellow. All right. Do you see anything over here that has something to do with growing up milestones or path? Well, right here, I see grandfather again. All right. And there's a link there. So it's going to involve the elderly. Memories. Oh, growing up, remembering the past, writing about it. Oh, I like that. Feelings. Ooh. Switch on over to green. I'd like you to put a dot above milestones, a dot above path, and a dot above growing up. And I'd like you to check both of these word clouds for anything that helps answer that question that I haven't found yet on the screen that answers the question, what are some milestones on the path to growing up? Go ahead. All right. So our prompt or our guiding prompt reads like this: a poet might choose a narrative poem instead of a lyric poem. Why did Audre Lorde choose a lyric poem? Use evidence to develop your answer. And I'd like you to take a moment and grab these two red dots, put them next to the top of the green word prompt. And then I'd like you to take a moment to find the two most important words in the poem in that prompt. Find the two most important words in that prompt. Go ahead. All right, nice work. So directions, read the text for the first time, annotate along the way, say less. Well, here we are. We already got a connection between our prompt up here, which is why did this person choose a lyric poem, right? So well, let's take a look at what the definition of a lyric poem is. The purpose of lyric poetry is to create single vivid impressions. And if you don't know that word vivid, put a purple question mark on top of it. Of an object, person, or a moment in time. Lyric poems are generally short. They may be rhymed or unrhymed, right? Does that connect with our looking at parts of poetry today? Yes, it does. So I'm going to put a check mark there. But most lyric poems contain musical qualities that help to convey meaning. These musical effects are created through the repetition of words and sounds, as well as the rhythm created by the strong and weak stresses a reader naturally places on those words. So that's lyric poetry. It's a little bit different than a narrative poem. Take a look at that. A narrative poem tells a story and includes the main elements of a short story. It's got characters, setting, conflict, and plot. A narrative poem may also include musical effects, but generally not the same degree that a lyric poem does. A lyric poem is going to have a lot more musicality to it, right? Think of lyrics to a song. So let's start with this lyric poem by Audre Lorde called Hanging Fire. I am 14 and my skin has betrayed me. The boy I cannot live without still sucks his thumb in secret. How come my knees are always so ashy? What if I die before morning and mama's in the bedroom with the door closed? Slide 9. I have to learn how to dance in time for the next party. My room is too small for me. Suppose I die before graduation. They will sing sad melodies, but finally tell the truth about me. There is nothing I want to do and too much that has to be done, and Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed. Nobody even stops to think about my side of it. I should have been on the math team. My marks were better than his. Why do I have to be the one wearing braces? I have nothing to wear tomorrow. Will I live long enough to grow up? And Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed. Okay. So before we get to the next poem, I'd like you to head on back to slide 6. And I'd like you to annotate it. Do you see any connections? I challenge you to find a connection between this picture where I put this here and any part of the poem. What seems to be important? What's repeated? Put your light bulb where that goes. And do you see anything that goes with lyric poetry? Do you see anything that reminds you of a song? Do you see anything that is about a person, trying to give you an impression of a person? All right. Take a moment and annotate now. All right. Then head on over to slide 9. And I would like you to find a connection. Please line the blue up there. I'd like you to find an important idea. And I'd like you to find something that you have a question about. And finally, do you see anything that shows that this is a lyric poem? Take the time to do that now. All right. And finally, please annotate this last stanza. Do you have a question about anything? Time to find a spot where you can put a question mark. Is there anything that seems important? Do you see any connections, maybe between the picture and the poem, if you prefer? Or do you see anything about lyric poetry or any evidence this is a lyric poem? Do that now, please. Nice work. So the next poem goes a little something like this. It's called Translating Grandfather's House by E.J. Vega. And if we have one that is a lyric poem, and this is the only other poem, well, you can assume that that's a narrative poem. Put your light bulb on top of that word narrative. A narrative is a story. All right, let's read this story together. According to my sketch, rows of lemon and mango trees frame the courtyard of grandfather's stone and clapboard home. The shadow of a palomino gallops on the lip of the horizon. My teacher says the house is from some Zorro movie I've seen. Hmm. Ask my mom, I protest. She was born there, right there on the second floor. Crossing her arms, she moves on. Does this teacher seem especially nice? Memories once certain as rivets become confused as awakenings in strange places, and I question the house, the horse, the wrens perched on the slate roof, the roof Oscar Harteen tumbled from one hot Tuesday installing a new weather vane. He broke a shin and two fingers. Classmates draw finished drawings of New York City housing projects on Navy Street. Right there's the housing projects on the right. There's the word housing projects there. I draw one too with wild grass rising from the sidewalk cracks like windows. In big round letters, I title it Grandfather's House. Hmm. Is that the way his grandfather's house really looked? Beaming, the teacher scrawls an A plus in the corner and tapes it to the green blackboard. To the green blackboard. Ooh. We can get to the essay part later in the week, but I'd like you to take the time now to annotate slides 13, 14, 15, and 16. I would suggest working silently before working with your partners for the first slide. Go ahead. All right.